Okay, so welcome. This is the first of many videos that you're going to be watching this school year in math class. I wanted to start the year off, though, getting you into the habit of doing this with kind of an introductory video to what we're going to be doing this year, this flipped learning concept that I've started to develop over the last year or so here at Villa. You may have heard about it from some of your friends that had me last year. But I want to really explain it and go into some detail. I'm really excited about it. It was such a success last school year, and I want to continue that trend. I took the summer to find some other ways to implement this model in our class and really try to learn and find ways to better the experience for you as a student, because really, as you'll see in this video, that's why I did it. I think it's a much more beneficial way of learning so that you're going to be successful this year in my classroom. Okay, so we're going to just do a little intro to what this is all about and what I'm going to be expecting of you to do this year as part of being in what's known as a flipped classroom. Okay, so what is it all about? Well, as the name would suggest, a flipped classroom basically flips the normal routines that happen inside class with what would normally be the routines that happen outside of class. So in most of the math classes you've been at, and probably a lot of your other subjects as well, the routine was normally this. In class, you would take some notes. You would maybe do some guided examples of problems, where the teacher would go through step by step, here's what we expect you to do so you can do it on your own. And then if there was time at the end, the teacher would give you some practice problems, walk around, try to answer some questions, but not really get a lot of time to do that because you're always coming up against the bell rings, and then you get sent off to go to your next class with homework to do that night. And generally the homework is just some bookwork problems. Because you can't get through every example in a 44-minute class period, more often than not, a lot of those textbook problems end up being a little bit harder than what you saw in class. So most students, they'll try the homework, but they just go back and they go, what did the teacher say? What was going on here? They try to review their notes, and usually they're successful, but occasionally there's some struggling because it's the first time you're doing this on your own. So students will then come to class the next day a little discouraged about what they had learned and what they thought they had mastered in class. What we're going to do, and I say this, not every day we're going to do this, we're not completely going to flip the classroom, but in the days where we do flip our lessons, we're going to do the opposite, okay? The homework is going to be what is known as a screencast or a video of some sort of mini lesson of our new concept. I'll be at my iPad doodling away at some practice problems, or I'll be talking through a PowerPoint like I'm doing right now, something to basically supplement what would normally happen in class when I'm giving you your notes, okay? You won't just be sitting there idly watching, however. You'll have some guided note sheets that I'll make out up for you to do with some practice problems. You may occasionally have to do this writing activity called a whisk. We'll talk more about that as the year progresses as well. It's just a way for you to have a dialogue with the video you're watching as opposed to just sitting there and watching the video. Then when you come to class the next day, we discuss the video with our classmates. You have ample opportunity to ask me questions if things are unclear. I know I'm a fast talker if you haven't figured that out yet in this video, so occasionally things may not be as crystal clear, just like if I was presenting them in class. So you get the opportunity to have that discussion with me and with your peers. Then we're able to do a lot of the more higher level, challenging things together that we couldn't do in class because we were taking the time to do notes. Things like word problems, group activities, calculator demos with your TI Inspires. All of those things are now going to happen in the classroom setting because we've taken what's normally inside the classroom and brought it outside the classroom. Most importantly, though, you get the opportunity to work with me either in small groups or individually. I get more contact time with my students through this flipped method, and that's why I'm the biggest proponent of the flipped classroom. Okay, so just to kind of reiterate what it is and what it isn't. Okay. The flipped classroom is not a substitute for my teaching. Like I said, we're not even going to do it for every lesson, for every unit, for every concept. So clearly I am still going to be the teacher. It's just my role is going to shift a little bit, okay, from going to being directly in front of you all period to be more of a facilitator and a guide through your own learning of the material. Okay, this is not an online class. You will be doing a lot of work online by watching videos as part of this class, but the bulk of what we're really going to be doing is still going to be happening in class. And it's not all about the videos. In fact, I think that's the biggest misconception is I'm not just going to be teaching you through videos, but instead the video is a supplement, and the video is a way to help connect the dots and get you towards connecting those dots when we're meeting face-to-face in class. Okay? Here's what the flipped classroom really is. It's designed to increase the amount, like I said before, the amount of time I get to spend with you all, helping you with the material, challenging you, helping you come up with the questions that you need to answer in order to prove that you've mastered the material. It's about you taking responsibility for your own learning. Very soon, you'll all be heading off to college, and the total responsibility towards your learning is going to be on you. Unfortunately, it's not going to be on your professor. It's going to be towards you. So I think this is also something that's going to help get you ready for that, because you're going to have to take the initiative to watch the videos. You're going to have to take the initiative to rewatch the videos if you're struggling, or pause them, or rewind them, or all these other things that I'll get to in a minute. Okay? I'll still be there to guide you. I'll still be there to help you and make sure you succeed. But a lot of this is also going to have to fall upon you as well as the student. Okay? And finally, the most important thing, it's a space for us to stay engaged about the concept that I love, the discipline that I studied in college and wanted to study to teach to you all, mathematics. And I hope my goal was, by setting this up to be a very engaging and interactive and lively classroom, you're going to be just as passionate about math as I am, or at least you're not going to hate it. Okay, so why do I do this? Besides the fact that I'm a little crazy, the reason why I do this is about time management. Like I said before, we're only together 44 minutes a day, and that's if we don't have a special schedule. That's if there's nothing crazy going on. A normal scheduled day is 44-minute periods here at Villa. I didn't feel like having myself stand in front of the classroom for 35 of those minutes and talking at you was the best use of those 44 minutes we got a day, which is what the traditional classroom setting is like. This way, our class is going to become about you and your individual learning abilities and your individual needs in order to get you where you need to go to be successful this year. Okay? Now, how does this work? During flip lessons, the videos are going to be assigned online. You'll see links. I'll post them all throughout different places, and we'll talk all about where you're going to be able to see that, okay, as the year progresses and as we get into it. You're going to watch the video. There's going to usually be some written component to it so that you're taking notes, that you're responding to the video, you're asking questions or coming up with a question maybe about the video. That's what your homework will be for a flip lesson, okay? Then in class, we'll start the period discussing what you saw in the video. I'll take questions that you have about things that don't make sense. And then the fun begins. Then, because we're only spending those 5-10 minutes rehashing the video, we go to the next level. We do more practice. We work through word problems together. We do some explorations on our calculator. So instead of me just lecturing at you and continuing to take notes in your notebook, we're going to guide our way together through the curriculum this year, through the flipped classroom, okay? So some of the benefits of doing this way and having these lessons on video. You can learn at your own pace. You know, I try to go quick, not too quick, but I try to make each video between 8 and 12 minutes. So occasionally, there's a lot I want to get in the video, I talk fast, like you see here. However, because it's a video, you can pause it, you can rewind it, you can rewatch it. Maybe if you wanted me in class to go do something a little bit slower, but you're the kind of student that's embarrassed to raise your hand about that, well, now you can do it anonymously because it's you in front of your laptop or your iPad or your iPhone or whatever device you're going to be watching these videos on. Okay? That's one key benefit to these video lessons. Another one is, once I post it, I never take it down, which is great when we have a quiz or a test or a final and there's a lot more material that you need to learn. You may have forgotten, oh, what was that first section about? I'm totally fuzzy on that. Well, now you can rewatch it and it's like that lesson just happened for the first time all over again for you. Okay? But don't just take my word for it. You can tell in this video, hopefully, you're getting a little bit of my passion for why I'm a big fan of the flipped classroom. But don't just take my word for it. Last school year, when it was the first time we've done this, I had students fill out surveys about the class in general, and you'll do the same throughout the course of the year as well. And one of the things I asked them was what their thoughts were about the flipped classroom. It was the first time any of them had really ever done it. It was the first time as a teacher I had ever done it. And the comments were just unbelievable. I learned more from those surveys than I've learned throughout the course of my teaching career. And the big take-home message that I got was the students loved it. Here's some of the things that last year's students said. Okay. I like the videos. It's easier to do practice in class when you can ask classmates or your teacher questions instead of being confused at home. Another student said, we didn't waste a ton of time in class learning a concept and then doing 2 examples. We were able to do a lot of examples in class because we already know what we were doing. So I'm hoping so far from hearing all of this, you're getting a little bit of a better idea of what's going to be expected of you when we do flipped learning this school year. So with that, we'll talk about this video in class, and we'll continue to talk about my expectations for you when we do these types of activities this year. I'll see you in class. Have a great evening.